Hi, Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine. Did you know that recently it was Mick Jagger's 80th birthday? And I think he's a force of nature. He's also a fantastic inspiration for those of us who are perhaps past the age of 25 to think that what the human body can do and how much longer we will be able to continue to rock and roll as we spend our time on planet Earth. He really is an inspiration. And I have never done anything on the Rolling Stones, I don't think. So I thought what I'd do to celebrate Mick's 80th, and the band and the lads, was to do a rundown of my favourite Rolling Stones songs. And I've picked 20 songs that are the songs from the Stones that I play the most. So here we go, and I shall hopefully try and list which albums they are from. Again, with many of my videos like this, they're based on personal experience and memories, and the ones I play the most, otherwise they wouldn't be my top 20. So it's not based on Wikipedia stats or sales stats, it's just me stats. So at number 20 in my rundown is, if I can find it, lost it already, no I haven't, it's Crazy Mama, which is from Black and Blue. It's not an album that I kind of play that much, but how I got into it was a single, and it was the single was Fall to Cry, which is beautiful, and the B-side is Crazy Mama. The best tracks on the album are actually off the single. The Stones do that quite often, actually. Well, they seem to me. But that single, I bought it from one of those news agents where they have ex-jukebox songs and they have that funny little stamp on it. And I bought it, a few of my friends like Fall to Cry, but I like the B-side, Crazy Mama. I thought Crazy Mama was a great, nice rock shuffle, great groove, and I really, really liked it. Number 19 in my list is a single, and at the time when I bought this, it was the oldest record I owned in my collection. I have got it, I was going to try and find it for this video, but it's on Decca Records, and it's The Last Time, which is now available on this triple CD, which is where I've got it. But I remember the early Stone singles were available on a single from Decca for years. You could just go to Smith's, where in the UK where I live, you could just browse through singles and get them. And The Last Time had a riff, because remember I discovered The Last Time probably in the early 70s, and I was into riffs. A whole lot of love, Smoke on the Water, NIB, riffs, and The Last Time seemed to have one, and I really liked it. I thought it was a great song, and it still has that vibrant production to this day. Next was actually the one I've just mentioned, which is Fall to Cry, number 18. So as I mentioned, though, that single has had a lasting effect on me. So number 18 was Fall to Cry, again from the album Black and Blue. Number 17 is a deep track, I believe, and it is Fingerprint File from It's Only Rock and Roll, which I have on vinyl somewhere. There you go. I love the bass riff on this. The bass riff, and it's quite a long song as well, and it's over, was it 6.5 minutes long? But I love Fingerprint File, and this is 1974, and I really, really like it. And it's a track that I play quite a bit, and my eldest son Dan also plays it on his own Spotify playlist. But it's a great track from It's Only Rock and Roll. The next one is at number 16 in my list, and it is from Voodoo Lounge. Now there's going to be a surprise on how many tracks are from different albums when I go through this list. But this album from 1994 is, I really, really like it. Always have done. And the song is Out of Tears, the ballad. I love the video, I love everything about it. I think it's one of Mick's finest vocal performances, and it's a song that I would never, never tire of. It's Out of Tears at number 16 from the album Voodoo Lounge. The next one is Star Star from Goat's Head Soup. I'm going to do a separate video on this album because I've got the Super Deluxe edition, but that's a separate thing. Star Star, because it has a swear word in it, hidden amongst it and no one noticed it. But I remember for me, because it was so naughty, I was too young. I was one of the last holidays I went on with my mum and dad to Newquay in Cornwall, and I used to stand outside. Well, my mum and dad used to go into like, you know, the gift shops and all that kind of stuff. I used to stand outside the pubs. The pubs in Newquay at that time played nothing but rock music. There was the Victoria Bars and there was the Sailor's Arms. The Sailor's Arms had another rock jukebox just full of people into rock music. And I used to stand outside and listen to the music coming on the jukebox. And Star Star came on. And I heard the chorus. You know, she was da dee dee dee, I could bleep, bleep, bleep. And I thought, wow. I just thought, that's amazing. And that album then became so important to me. I was a kid, you know, things like that, you know, because you think, I'll turn it up and see if my mum and dad will notice. They didn't. And but it also had some great other songs on which are in my list as well. But Star Star and Goat Said Soup is at number 13. Sorry, that was number 15. So at number 14 is from the album Let It Bleed. And it is, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you can get what you need. And it's more to do with the sentiment in that lyric than it is to do with the song. I think it's always just connected with me. I love the passionate intonation of Mick Jagger's voice on that. And I think it's timeless. And I just think, I mean, I love the whole album, but the vocal on that is just amazing. And so that is at number 14. You can't always get what you want. Number 13 sees me go back to Goat Said Soup, and it is Angie, a ballad, but just a wonderful song. It's such immaculate production, isn't it? It's just immaculate production. Angie remembers it on Top of the Pops, and a lot of my friends at school liked it. It wasn't the kind of thing we normally liked, but the Stones were just part of the fabric of the world of Angie. They were seen as like the older statesmen even then, in the 70s to me, being the age I was. But yeah, Angie is at number 13. Number 12 is from Steel Wheels, which is technically seen as a new album, although it's not, is it? It's decades old, but it's between a rock and a hard place. Great Keith Richards rhythm guitar sound, great lyric, great chorus, great rock song. The Stones seem to do it. I'm not going through all the albums here, but every Stones album has at least 1, 2 or 3 brilliant rock tracks. And there's sometimes some filler on there as well, but every single album. This is why the Stones make such fantastic greatest hits compilations. Because there's so much, the width, depth and girth of their music catalogue has just got so many gems in it. But that is my track at number 12, which is from Steel Wheels, Rock and a Hard Place. Next is at number 11, which is another one from Voodoo Lounge. That's 2 from that album. What do you think of that then? And it is, where is it? I can't find it now. God. Oh, you got me, second track in, sorry. You Got Me Rocking. Isn't, to me, I just think it's one of the best rock songs they've ever written. It might be seen as a bit throwaway, but I love the vocals, I love the lyrics, I love the observational aspect of the words. I just think it's brilliant. I really, really do. And it always makes me feel good. And those of you who like Now Spinning Magazine and what I do here, you know I have an inclination to music that makes me feel good. It makes me feel positive, makes me feel like life is fantastic. And that to me is one of those songs. It just gears me up to whatever I've got to do. And I just absolutely love it. So that's why You Got Me Rocking is at number 11. Next at number 10 is Street Fighting Man from Beggar's Banquet. I know it's a classic record, but I don't play it as much as you might think. And Street Fighting Man felt like the guitars or something was not quite in tune. I've always felt that, but lyrically, but what can a poor boy do except to sing for a rock and roll band? You know, no place for Street Fighting Man. I just felt it had a message to where I felt at the time when I first heard it, and I was just thinking about buying a guitar. It just had a rebellious streak that kind of, it still does. That whole idea about playing in a rock and roll band, being out with your mates, brothers on the road, it just really did it for me. Next was, and I bet I can't find this one. Oh, I can. It is Undercover The Night, the title track. There are lots of tracks I could have picked from this, because the more I've played this, the more I've realised how special it is as an album. I remember at the time people were calling Keith Richards the human riff, because of the riff he had on Uncover the Night. And I remember the video being on the telly all the time. But it has got a real great groove, some great lyrics again. There's some wonderful tracks on here. So that is Undercover the Night, which is at number 9. The next one, which is at number 8, is actually from a compilation album called Gloom. Is that right? Yes. It was a triple CD, and the track I picked on here is Doom and Gloom. And it's a typical example of the Stones being able to write perfection when it comes to, simple rock songs, if they really want to. It's not on an album, I don't think. It's just on this. And Doom and Gloom, to me, is one of the best rock songs the Rolling Stones have ever written. And that is at number 8 in my list. I mean, listen to that, stream it. It's on there. And tell me what you think. And it gets forgotten. I don't think they play it live. Like a lot of things, they just stick to what's safe, I guess. I mean, why shouldn't they? But Doom and Gloom from Gloom is one of my favourite Rolling Stones tracks, and it is at number 8. Number 7 is another single, which I've got on a 7-inch Decca record, and it is Jumping Jack Flash. What a riff. I think the only other person who could play it like Keith Richards was probably Johnny Winter, from Johnny Winter and Live. But it's a great riff. Again, I was into riffs. I love the vocal. I love the delivery. It was menacing. It was dark. I'm one of those strange people on this planet that never really connected that much to the Beatles, as many people have. I was the Stones. They were darker. They felt more dangerous. They had longer hair. They didn't comb it. But I just felt that Jumping Jack Flash was like really, really cool. Really did. The next one I have is at number 7. No, it isn't. It's number 6, and it is from Tattoo You, and it's Start Me Up. By the time this came out, my musical horizons were looking really, really in a different place. I was going a totally different trajectory to anything like the Stones, anything like that. I was going into metal land. But Start Me Up, I couldn't escape the fact that this was a great riff, a great groove, a great song, and it always made me feel up. So Start Me Up is at number 6. At number 5 is, this could have easily crept into my top 2 really, and it's from Exile on Main Street, and it is Tumbling Dice. This was a single that didn't set the charts alight, but had a feel for it that to me is otherworldly, and to this day sounds different to me to any other Rolling Stones mega song. There's just something about it. There's a kind of aching angst vocal delivery that kind of hangs in the air and just sits on top of the guitars and the drums. And I mean, Happy's similar in a way. It's just got that feel to it. And Tumbling Dice, 3 minutes 45 seconds of pure genius. I mean, I know this is seen as one of their best albums of all time. I actually don't play as much as many others might, but that song, Tumbling Dice, is just brilliant. The next one is yet the 3rd song from Voodoo Lounge. Yes, and it's at number 4 of my most played Rolling Stones songs of all time. And it is Love Is Strong. Do you remember the video with the giants moving across the buildings? I thought the band looked cool. I thought the song Love Is Strong is so cool in itself. It's a great riff. They look great. The song's powerful. The production's brilliant. And to this day, I just love that song. It was on MTV all the time. I think I'd only just started to get MTV through satellite TV. But this album has featured 3 songs in my top 20 Rolling Stones. Whereas everything else, I think, there might be one more that's going to have 2 on. There's 2 actually. But this has got 3 on it. So to me, this is a great album. And that song, Love Is Strong, is at number 4. Number 3 is from Sticky Fingers, and it's not Brown Sugar or Wild Horses. It's Bitch. Bitch was the B-side of Brown Sugar with Let It Rock, I think. But Bitch has got a riff. Yeah, this is a trend here, riffs. But Bitch has got this great moody riff and a great vocal line. Eric Clapton plays on the extended version, doesn't he? On the deluxe one. I just love it. I think Bitch is one of the best Rolling Stones songs. It again shows them as a real rock band. It's just killer. Bitch by the Rolling Stones from from Sticky Fingers. It just, that is great. And the version that's on here is the best one. It's the best one, bar none. But yeah, that probably for the 70s, nearly, is probably the one I played the most, apart from the next one, which is another song from It's Only Rock and Roll, and it is the title song, It's Only Rock and Roll. I bought this on the single when it came out, saw them in the Soapsuds video on the telly, and I played this song to death. I came home and I played it over and over again. I learned to play the riffs. I learned to play the solo on it when I was learning to play guitar. I played it and played it and played it. I just felt it was hypnotic. It was so catchy. It was an earworm. I loved it. I absolutely love it. And to this day, I think it's perfect. I think at the time it was seen as cliche, a song with rock and roll in the title. How many has there been since? But it's the best. To me, it's one of the best ever rock and roll songs, and it's by the Rolling Stones, and it's from It's Only Rock and Roll, and it's called It's Only Rock and Roll. I just absolutely adore it, and I love the way that towards the end, the guitar motif comes in, then they repeat it. I just think the arrangement is just genius. It's still, how old was I? I was 15. And it just really ignited a spark in me for the Stones. I think up to this point, I'd seen them as being like something that my older kids at school were into, or my older cousins. It wasn't my thing. I was into Purple and Sabbath. But It's Only Rock and Roll showed me a different light for what the Stones were about. And ironically, this 1974, I say 15, the song that is at number 1 in my list, I didn't discover until this point, and it has never slipped from number 1 from that day. And it is from Let It Bleed. And it is, of course, Gimme Shelter. It's the definitive statement for the Rolling Stones and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and the whole band. Everything about it is perfect. Every live version, everything on YouTube, I watch them all. It captures anything. That female vocal, when she sings solo in the middle of it, and it's just a shot away and everything. It just sends shivers down my spine to this day. And Mick Jagger's vocal delivery is so angst-driven, so full of passion and life and the human condition. There's nothing comes near it since. It is the perfect Rolling Stones song. It's one of those songs that leaves me speechless. I put it on and say, if you want to listen to the Rolling Stones, you don't think about it, play Gimme Shelter from Let It Bleed from 1969. The guitar solo is just perfect. It's just measured. It works. But the vocal delivery, the way Jagger hangs back, the interplay within him and the female backing vocalist, who I think they got up at 2 a.m, who's still in a dressing gown to sing that part, is just amazing. It's still in the set list now, and I think it's become more of a thing. I've never heard anyone cover this song and do it justice. I think I heard Thunder do it once, and they made it sound like a Status Quo cover. People don't understand. I don't think they understand the dynamic and the light and shade and the humanity in this track. It's just brilliant. It makes me feel a bit melancholy, perhaps, but also it makes me look back. It makes me look back at people I've lost. It gives me courage. It gives me hope. It gives me drive. It gives me ambition. It gives me. It helps me reflect on things. It's the power of music to heal. It's the power of music as a doctor to me. Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones from Let It Bleed. Listen to that. If you've managed to get through to the end of this video, well done. Then listen to that track, because it's just perfect. So that is my top 20 Rolling Stone moments from a variety of albums, which you'll see in the description below here if you want to have a recap. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Please subscribe, visit the website, visit the Now Spinning magazine community on Facebook, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to this channel, and become a patron or supporter if you can in any way, make a donation. And thank you for being here, thank you for watching. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Take care, everybody, and I shall see you on my next video.